Hi, this is Dr. Tiffany Lamond from Lamond Wellness, and I am coming to you today pretty raw. Super early in the morning. I'm about to go for a swim, so I'm wearing this really strange outfit. But, you know, I think it's really important to keep this information as authentic and real as possible. And today I wanted to talk to you about something called a personal mission statement. So I wrote this years ago, and I don't remember what inspired me to do it, but what I do is I have it up actually at my office, and I look at it periodically, as well as, I don't think I'd looked at it for probably about 6 months or so, and I looked at it yesterday and I thought, you know what, this is something that is absolutely worth sharing with people, and they can take with it from it what they want. So I'm going to be looking at a paper a lot. You would think I'd have this memorized, however it's pretty long, and I'm going to talk to you about what we call the Lamond family mission statement and the Tiffany personal mission statement. So like I said, I wrote this years ago, and I was reflecting on it yesterday. And first of all, I want to say I think I've done a really good job accomplishing a lot of these goals on a very consistent basis. And also it holds exceptionally true today. I would say if I were going to write this again today, I would be the same. So I want to start first, and I'm going to be really transparent. I'm kind of exposing my life to people in an effort to help them with their health and wellness. And maybe this is an exercise that you guys can do and see if it gives you some benefit as well, some guidance. So the first one is, this is the Lamond family mission statement. I actually wrote this when my son was pretty young, and he did it with my husband and I. And so we did it as a family. And I'm just going to read to you each of the little bullets, and then maybe reflect on that a little bit. So the first one is, we will keep our minds and bodies fit and healthy so that we may continue to enjoy each other and the experiences that the world have to offer. I think that's it's very transparent. I want to have a strong, healthy, well body and mind so that I might enjoy all that life has to offer for me. And I think that that's a really good personal goal. The second one is, we will make having fun a priority. And I'm going to stop there for a second. My mom says, Tiffany can have fun in a paper bag. And I think that I am pretty good at having fun. We will participate in each other's interests and support each other's goals, and we will have many experiences together. Most of you probably don't know this, but over the last 3 years, I would call myself a progressing minimalist, is maybe the word that I would use. And a huge part of that process is really coming to the realization how much I don't value possessions, and how much I value experiences and relationships. And sometimes when I'm saying these things in these videos, I think, this is so obvious, I don't even know why I'm mentioning this. But I really think that there's a lot of people that are very caught up in consumerism and keeping up with the Joneses, if you will. And in that process, they have created debt, they have created identity through their possessions. And I want to really emphasize that my relationships and experiences are what really define me and my values. And it's been about 3 years that I think I've worked really hard toward that goal. And I'm sorry if the lighting's kind of funny. I probably should raise the shade. So let's do that. As you can see, I am no pro. I am just putting information out there for you guys, hoping it helps you. Nobody is going to accuse me of being a pro YouTuber anytime soon. Okay, so moving on to the next one. I can't even get this paper to stand up so that I can talk to you. Okay, the next one is, we will not work so hard and so much that we don't see each other. We will make time for each other. We will not grow apart regardless of miles. Mom and Dad will try and live close to Zane even when he has a family of his own. So I am going to admit, for a good chunk of my life, I would say I was pretty serious workaholic. Disaster. Things are falling apart everywhere. I put a very serious amount of my identity in my successes, and primarily that was professionally, but I identified myself through my fitness successes and accolades that I received. I really needed a lot of attaboys in my life, and I think I did know that about myself, but I don't think I fully appreciated the extent of that until I was working in a job that would have taken every inch of my life if I had allowed them to. And I had this realization one day that I was missing so much of my son's life because I was prioritizing my professional life over my family life. Now, don't misunderstand. I love treating patients. I love helping people. That is very fulfilling. It's very rewarding. I love to help people's lives be changed. But that whole idea of work-life balance is it's a real thing. And I do believe that I have made significant gains, especially since I've written, very much so since I wrote this. I don't think when I wrote this I was actually very good at this, and I will continue to improve, but I work less. There's kind of this old, this saying, work smarter, not harder. So I think I've gotten better at that. And I also, want to make sure that greed and monetary gain, this lighting is not good. Should I shift over here? Maybe I should shift. Let's see, let's give that a go. The monetary greed is not prohibiting me from enjoying the things that I truly value. Okay, next one. We will be responsible with our money. So, I would say that my husband and I have always been very financially responsible. However, about 7 years ago, we listened to something called Dave Ramsey, something from Dave Ramsey, and it's a program, a process that you go through to really develop what he calls financial independence or a debt-free lifestyle. And we have worked really hard on that, and I think we've maintained that well. And because of that, I actually think that we have more financial freedom than we've ever had, not necessarily making any more money, but because we don't have any debt, it allows us the opportunity to, one, be more generous, both with our finances and our time to others. And it allows us the freedom to travel. It allows us the freedom to participate in our sons' lives more fully. It allows us the freedom to engage in our interests more regularly. And we actually we use a cash-based system, which I think in America is considered really weird now. People will often not allow me to use cash. They'll allow me to use a debit card or a credit card, which is always very interesting to me because I think to myself, so you'll take my fake money, but you won't take my real money. I don't know about all that, but we do try to do that. So we have a certain amount of money that we try to live on every week. Some weeks we need less, some weeks we need a little bit more, but we have a very, very consistent budget. We could go back probably 15 years and tell you what our electric bill was 15 years ago. But that has allowed us to gain the freedom that comes with financial independence. And one of the things that we're working toward is the option of early retirement. Now, here's the thing. To me, retirement doesn't necessarily mean that you don't work, but you don't have to work if you don't want to. And so we want the option to retire early if we want to. And so far we're on track to do that. I'm 42 right now, and we've got about a 10-year plan to make that happen. So far, so good. See how the economy does. We will be honest with each other. We will not lie. Those of you who are close to me know that there is nothing that will send me into orbit or make me crazier than lying. I guess I'd have to say that's probably my biggest pet peeve. Lying is the thing that is at the top of the list for me. So I am brutally honest, maybe to a fault, candidly. And you can always count on me to be honest. And I always tell people when they ask me a question, say, they ask me my opinion on something. And I learned as I got older to be a little more polished about the manner that I engage in that. And one of the things that I'll say is, are you sure you want me to answer that? Because you may or may not like the answer that I have. And usually they'll say yes, but every once in a while they're like, well, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to hear your opinion on that. The last one for our Lamond family mission statement is, we will help each other around the house. We will help others when we can. We will be generous with our home, money, skills, and love. I really like that one. I like to think that I'm a generous person. Of course, we can always be more generous, but I also think that in American culture, we consider generosity only a financial thing. We talk about donating, and that is great. And we do donate our money to causes that we believe in, one of which that we most strongly support is STAND, which I go to Haiti every year with them. But I think that being generous with your skills is something that is really undervalued. So, for example, in my professional life, there are circumstances where people have financial hardship where they cannot otherwise afford my care. And because I own my own practice, it does give me the ability to decide, to help people when they need it. And I think it's an undervalued generosity in America. And I also think that being generous with my love, I don't think that most people would consider me super affectionate other than with my immediate family, although I'm better than I used to be. I used to have a real distinct bubble around me that I didn't really want people to go into, which is strange because I'm a physical therapist. I touch people all day long. However, I'm kind of in charge of the touch, which is a little different than when someone's kind of coming into your space. But I think that, being generous with your love is something that's undervalued as well. So now I'm going to move on to sort of my personal mission statements, and I've broken it up into some categories. So health, family, time, and love, which is the second. Third is as a wife. Fourth is as a mother. Fifth is travel and experiences. Sixth is nature and environment. Next is financial freedom and fiscal discipline. Knowledge and skills, helping others. Discipline and personal accountability and responsibility. And then the last one is truth and honesty. And underneath each of those, there's a couple of bullet points. So I'm just going to kind of start with health. And I'm going to list all of them and then maybe take a moment to chat about them. Health. I will keep myself free from addictive and destructive behaviors. I should probably stop on that one and elaborate. I come from a complicated childhood, if you will. I have extremely high levels of addiction, violence, abuse, and mental health problems in my family. And by some miracle, I have managed to escape all of that. And it is not lost on me how grateful I am that, I think I might sneeze. Maybe not. Excuse me. It is not lost on me how fortunate I am that I do not have those struggles. That said, I have many patients, I have many family members that do have those struggles. And with an awareness to my family propensity to some of those things, I do make concerted efforts to avoid and be cognizant of addictive behaviors so that I don't increase my risk of those things. The next one is I will exercise my body most days of the week. There was a time in my life where I exercised for a long time, extremely intensely. At one point, I would consider myself a fairly decent athlete with some decent accolades, if you will, in a few arenas. I do exercise very regularly. I would consider myself healthy in that regard. However, as I've gotten into my 40s, and a pleasant thing has happened. I have given myself a little more grace to just exercise for enjoyment, and that it doesn't always have to be grueling and really intense and difficult, but that it can just be for fun. And I think the idea of being an active person is super valuable, and I've seen a little bit more of that since this whole COVID-19 thing. Actually, I see a lot more people just being out and biking. Actually, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and someone just biked by my window. So biking and walking and running and things like that. Although that has resulted in some people coming into my office with some injuries that they wouldn't otherwise have. So that's that's an interesting turn of events. But yeah, being an active person and not just an exerciser, I think is super valuable. The next one I have on here is I will follow my dietary restrictions and choose foods that nourish and not just satisfy. I have a couple of dietary restrictions. I have an anaphylactic allergy to pork, which is not super common. It's not super uncommon, although most people have never heard of anyone that, I think in my life I've met 2 or 3 people that are allergic to pork as well. So that is a non-negotiable. I cannot eat pork. I can't touch pork. I cannot be standing next to someone that's cooking bacon, which from what I understand is really sad because apparently bacon's delicious. But so that one's obvious. I need to follow that. And then I have followed a gluten-free diet for 13 years now. Although I will say in recent years, I think that maybe has improved some. I've had a few opportunities where I tried gluten and with very minimal response, whereas years ago it would result in 6 days of very debilitating abdominal pain and gastrointestinal distress is maybe the word that I would use, but that doesn't seem to be as severe. Not going to make me jump on eating a bunch of gluten. However, probably twice a year I do that now. So intentionally, as a matter of fact. And as a nutritionist, you would probably scoff at what I choose, but it always seems to be fried chicken is the thing that I want to indulge in. And I've done pretty okay with that. So probably a good long time of abstinence from foods that give me difficulty has resulted in some healing and allowed me to be a little bit more lenient with that. The next one I have on here is family, time, and love. I will find a balance between work and family. See prior commentary. I will make quality time and experience, not just proximity. Ooh, this is a good one. I think we do well with this. I think I'm doing well with most of my goals here, but a lot of times people will think that just being near your family and loved ones while you're on your phone or you're watching TV is quality time. And I would argue that's proximity, but not necessarily quality time. And sometimes that requires you putting your own desires and goals and pleasures aside in order to indulge and enjoy the desires, goals, and pleasures of another. So, for example, I went fishing with my son and his girlfriend and my husband the other day, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not like fishing. I would rather watch paint dry. However, it's important to him, so I made that a priority, and really it wasn't that bad. I just enjoyed their company. So I don't think everything has to be about self-sacrifice, but self-sacrifice in and of itself can be very, very satisfying. As a wife, I will choose to foster a close relationship with my husband, including common interests and physical contact. So this, I think, very much mirrors what I said before, is including myself in the interests and goals of my husband and making sure that his needs are met in that regard. And he does the same for me, but also physical contact. That is something that can become challenging after you have children. People often, their physical contact will decline, and it's a constant thing that we work on, and certainly not perfect, but it is something that we work toward. Probably a little bit more information than I want to put on a YouTube discussion, at least at this point. As a mother, I will support Zane in ways that grow his character, responsibility, respect, joy, peace, love, kindness, freedom, and health. So, synopsis, I will help and support and develop my son to become his greatest version of himself through opportunity, love, encouragement, pushing, discipline where needed. And I think he's amazing. He's still pretty young. We'll see how he turns out. Hopefully he becomes an amazing man that's good to people and, changes the world for the better. But I think he's pretty great so far. Travel and experiences. I will experience at least one amazing trip per year with my family, and I will make time for smaller travel and experiences regularly with my family. I would say without a doubt, we have accomplished this goal. We travel very regularly, although barring the last 3 months, and we plan at least one epic trip a year, and we have multiple smaller trips. We are, honestly, if I could make a gig out of traveling, I probably would do it. And then, I suppose I could, but I'd have to change some stuff. Nature and environment. I will do my part to care for the environment and assist others to do the same. I talk a little bit about that stuff so far on the channel. There's lots of videos that can be made in that regard, but actually that's probably a good one. I should probably expand a little bit on some of the smaller ways throughout just my day-to-day life that we try and be more sustainable and more conscious of those things. I am not perfect. I do not do everything that I could do. I try, I make efforts. I probably improve a little bit every year, add a few additional skills and tools, but all in all, we're not perfect, but we try. Next one is financial freedom, fiscal discipline. Like I said earlier, we strive to be completely debt-free and maintain that status, and the last one is we will aspire to a comfortable retirement and leave something for our son. And I think that I probably covered that pretty decently previously, so I don't think I need to expand any more on that. My next one is knowledge and skills. I will engage in professional and personal development every year. And I've always been really good about doing my professional development. And this year, there's a few things that I've done in personal life that I've wanted to do for a long time. So up until shelter in place, I had done some painting, I had taken a pottery class, and I've done a few of those over the last couple of years. I took up studying German again and sign language again, and I love all of those things. I'm a voracious learner. I love to learn anything new, and I especially love to learn from people who have a really powerful skill and an intense passion for whatever it is that they do. So even if it's well outside of my personal scope of practice and my personal scope of knowledge, I really love to watch and learn from people that are brilliant in their own arena. And actually, I think YouTube has been a really great platform for that. There is a lot of people putting out some very interesting content, and I enjoy that format a lot, learning from others, and because learning is lifelong, it never ends. The next one is helping others. I will use my skills to help others, and I will use my finances to enrich the lives and experiences of the ones that I care about. And so to me, that is my family, my friends, my patients. It's one of the things that we do is the trip to Haiti every year. We try, to work. Honestly, I think I've kind of created a profession in this regard. As a physical therapist and nutritionist, I've kind of dedicated my life to trying to help other people, and it's been very fulfilling and very satisfying, especially in the last few years since I've had my own practice, and I felt like I've been able to do it in a way that I think is really the best way to do it. It's constantly evolving, but I hope those of you who are watching feel like I've helped you in some way. I've really tried. And then discipline and personal accountability and responsibility. I will be accountable for my choices and actions. I really like this one. I think it is extremely important to be accountable for your own choices and actions. And I'm not sure that that's a popular opinion anymore. Again, I'm not going to elaborate too much in this video, but given some of the challenges of my youth, it would be really easy for me to have made excuses and become a victim. And I don't think I did that. I was very fortunate. My experiences helped motivate, shape, and guide my moral compass in a way that I think was very powerful. And I'm very grateful for those challenges. A lot of people will ask me, like, how did you end up here? And I think that I had a really great system in place through my childhood of, 1, what not to do, 2, also what to do, and the wisdom to maybe know the difference at a very young age. And I feel extremely fortunate to have had that discernment when I was young to help guide to where I am today. And so I guess that's probably a little vague, but it's probably good for this one. And the last one is truth and honesty. I will be truthful and honest with myself and others. I said this before. I am nothing if not honest and truthful. And but when I was younger, I think I was probably not as good at delivery, and I would often offer my truth and honesty in a manner that was unsolicited. And advice that's unsolicited is criticism, and that's how it's interpreted. So I try, although I'm not perfect, but I try to offer that truth and honesty where it is desired more than I used to. So this was a little bit of a long one, and actually I don't think there's going to be a lot of editing. I tend to do a lot of one and done videos. Hopefully that's okay, but I'm really just talking, and I'm not trying to be too scripted about any of this, and hopefully you find that this is helpful. You do not need to take my goals at all, but maybe this is something that you can do to really reflect on your values for you, your family, and put them down in a way that's meaningful to you, and look at them regularly. Put them up on the mirror in your bathroom. Place them in a frame on your desk so that you regularly look at and reflect on the things that you truly value in your life. And if these help inspire you to maybe, if they align with some of your values and goals, great, feel free to steal them. Take anything you want from this. But ultimately, my goal here is to just help inspire you to one step closer to health and wellness. And I don't think that I have any more to add to that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that one wasn't too long. Okay, thanks, bye.